Hi everyone, just wanted to show you what we've been doing and why and where we're headed next in the garden. So many of you are going out into your gardens and you have the time to do it, and I'm really excited to share with you in this process, and I'm very excited about the moments that you're going to have in the garden, all of them, the ones that create smiles and tears and the blood and all of the sacrifice and revelation that the garden holds, and also the first bite of your tomato and the first carrot, with the dirt on it. And it's just a really wonderful experience, and I'm happy that everyone is, so many people are eager and have the time to be and to work in their garden. So I wanted to catch you up on what we've been doing and what's coming next in ours. So I'm going to turn you around in these two beds here. On the last waning moon, these two beds, we planted a lot of roots, radishes, beets, carrots, mostly sourced locally from Snake River Seed Co-op in a wide variety. We also put in a little bit of spinach, direct seed, bok choy, and we have the seed packets here that are laminated and labeled. So you can always refer back to them. So that's very exciting. So we did that in the last waning moon. And you can see here in another bed, we did beets along here. What's in the bed there, that's chamomile from last year, and we're just going to leave it. So you can see we planted some cabbage. Chamomile and cabbage are good companions. And that stuff too, if it gets in the way, you can always transplant it. But it's a natural companion and it helps with insects. I kind of like my beds to be multifunctional and have a lot of different relationships going on. This along the side is transplanted cabbage that's already been grown and started earlier, maybe in February. And in this half of the bed, we have onions, Patterson onion. Right here, Patterson is an early variety, so it should come on in 60 to 70 days. And then I did a lettuce sowing, again started early February probably. I did a 2-1-2-1 there. I got 3 different varieties from Snake River Seed Co-op. And these are cut and grow, so means you can cut them and they'll grow back, and you'll get 3 harvests from the plant that you cut. So we did the transplants here just because I'm trying to get food on as soon as possible. Then we'll direct seed in the last part of the bed and hopefully have a natural succession. What I mean by that is, the idea is when we cut this, eventually that'll be ready to go, and then we'll cut that and eat it. And in the meantime, this will grow back. So I think 3 zones is the best for that. In the middle here, we have bok choy growing in the middle. And then here's transplant of spinach. And again, the Patterson onion on the side. The onion is a really great companion for a lot of plants, not all plants, but it helps with insects as well. And you can see there at the end of the bed, I defined where I stopped with the row of onions, which I always enjoy. It makes it easier when I go outside and try to remember what I did, and doing it with a lot of people. So this row is a similar thing, but planted differently. So I have a row, let's see, kale here transplanted, and onions. This onion is a Russian red, or excuse me, that's the kale, a red wing onion, and it has a better storage life than the Pattersons. It has a different harvest. And I tried to pair onions that come on quick with the lettuces that are going to bolt around the solstice. So that harvest is going to be around the same time. And the idea there is that this bed can be pulled and cleared for a fall planting. This bed is a long season bed because the kale will continue to grow for most of the season, and these onions take a longer time to come on. So not only are they a good companion for insects, they don't compete for space. Onions grow beneath the ground, kale grows above the ground, but also they are common in their time of harvest and long season. This half of the bed hasn't been sown yet, and so we'll pair this with maybe something more kale or something like chard that also goes most of the season, and probably more onions because onions are great. When choosing different varieties of onions, I would suggest having a bulk of it early spring onions and the rest of it storage onions. So I do early, mid, and late season, but if you had to do only 2, would do just a little bit of the early so you can get that first crunch, which is amazing if you're working with a limited amount of space, and then focus on longer season or storage onions so that you can enjoy that from your garden longer into the winter. Okay. We have empty beds here. These are being reserved for hot crops. So something you can do with a bed that's empty. I am going to put peas in here, not for harvest, but just for soil. I'm also going to do probably carrots along the edges of where I'm going to put my tomatoes, or onions or scallions, because they're good companions. So it's good to look ahead and, ask yourself, like, what plants am I going to plant here? Do I need a trellis? And getting those prepped for summer. Hot crops should be going in right now. Peppers and tomatoes could have already gone in, and still can go in. This is still in the waning moon here. Here we have a pea trellis, and we planted shelling peas on one side and snap or sugar peas on the other. This here is arugula growing back from last year, from the seed that fell on the ground. Arugula can be considered a self-seeding annual. It can come back year after year, so it's a good place something to put in a perennial bed. We're going to leave this here, and then you can see that it's congested, and I'll probably just take a shovel and take a big chunk of it and move it somewhere else. So the little green ones there, these are radishes, and so we paired peas that are going to grow up the trellis, and then next to it we put radishes. And next we'll fill in the other half of these beds with roots and salad greens, more cabbage. In this moon of good time to plant seeds and above ground crops. These are our potato beds that we are going to plant in very soon, waiting for soil. So just want to encourage you to just do it, right? Just experiment with it, put plants together. I love working with all sorts of different types of plants in one bed. And I encourage you to just, I know we're all like, what do I do with my time? And there's a lot of doing energy, and I understand that we're being called to action, and we're feeling that. And I think a really good starting place to doingness and action is stillness and beingness, and to really grow that awareness of what's my intention, what's my motivation behind this action, and to be really aligned. And today when I came out to the garden, I was just ready to do, and I struggle with that. I'm always like, go, go, go. And instead I sat down, and there was these seeds on the beds, just covered them from some kind of tree. And they were shimmering, and the beds looked like they were moving, and they were shimmering. It was gorgeous. And the leaves started to rustle, and I was starting to see like the worms, and my awareness was growing. My relationship was growing with the garden. And I had to disengage the doing and just be with it, and really offer a thanks to the earth for me just having this and sharing it with others and everything that she offers, and just really like give myself as a conduit for her and for the ecosystems and the sanctuary that we want to create here, and really open myself up for her to speak to herself or to me through me, and so that she can direct me, so that my doingness is influenced by her needs, and by the ecosystem's needs, and by the plant's needs. And that requires awareness and sensitivity that can be touched on by anyone at any time, and oftentimes is done by breath and by stillness and by being. So happy gardening, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks.